Hey guys, it's Allie, and I apologize for the shaky footage. I don't have my tripod with me because I'm doing a photoshoot vlog. A lot of you guys have been wanting to see another photoshoot vlog, and the last one I did, I wasn't even a big fan of the photos I took, so I never ended up posting them, and I'm pretty sure they're deleted. Ooh, fancy animation. Flowers in her face and it's too orange. Too much bokeh, it's too distracting. Too dark. Too green. No, the white's overexposed. You can't even see the doll. Flower in her face, but that's like the best one. This is like, oh, the bokeh just looks weird and it exposes her flyaways. There's no color here. Why the weird angle? This one's okay if the editing was better. So hopefully these photos will actually turn out well, and I'm also going to be showing you guys how I edit my photos because a lot of you guys are curious. So let's start taking photos. So I'm going to start off by taking photos of Victoria in front of this plant, and this is actually the photos where I took the photos. This is actually the place where I took my first ever pictures of Ryan. A tip is if you want to make your photos a bit more interesting without doing any editing, is just to take a flower, and they're usually present when you shoot outdoors, especially in a nature-filled setting like my yard, and then just to hold it up in front of the lens. A lot of the times the nicest backgrounds are higher up because if the doll is on the bottom, even though this is actually a really cute background, you don't get any of this. So a really good hack I have is to use a little table, and that definitely helps give some height without tiring out your arms. We are overexposed but in position. Once again, we have our friend the leaf, and it's out of focus. You can kind of see it looks really cool, and I already took one with the leaf, and I'm really in love with all of the red because I haven't really done many fall photos, and even though it's almost winter, I might as well still use up some leaves. Victoria's been a great model, and I'm pretty sure I'm done with the photos. I've looked over them, and there's definitely a few that I really like. So if you guys are wondering how long my usual photo shoots take, with one doll, one outfit, I'm out shooting for 10 to 20 minutes. I don't do that elaborate of photo shoots. Normally my elaborate ones are all indoor with like a bunch of props and stuff, but you're not freezing to death in the really cold weather. So now I'm going to go inside and start sorting through the photos. It's a few hours later and I am on my computer, and now I'm going to be showing you guys how I edit my photos. So this should be pretty self-explanatory if you edit on a computer. Sometimes I will just edit on my phone, doing the same thing basically, but because I am doing some stuff in Photoshop for some of these photos, I'm editing on my computer. Wow, I got a notification, great. Anyways, so now I have my memory card pulled up, and then you can see all the photo and video clips from today. So now I'm just going to import these off camera, and then usually after I import everything, I like to go through it. So now we are on Lightroom, and I use Lightroom CC. It does cost money. If you do get the phone version, it is mostly free. You can pay for some extras like blemish removal, but I like the convenience of the computer. Plus I got the photography bundle, so that's how I got Photoshop. And you can do so much more on Photoshop on the computer that I haven't figured out yet than Photoshop on your phone. So I got this beautiful photo of Victoria, and here are the final ones. So this one I want to edit some leaves into. This one is really pretty. And then I couldn't decide between these two, so I asked a group chat, and then I remembered I can post multiple photos, so I'm gonna edit them each. I know whenever I first started using Lightroom or Photoshop, it can be quite scary to figure out, and more so for dolls. You don't have to worry about correcting skin tones as much, so hopefully this will help you guys out too if you are new to editing. So it's not going to be a speed edit, or at least the first part. I'm just going to go over the basics of what I do to an image. So I think I'm going to edit this one, because this one I feel needs the most work. So I'm starting here with this dial thing, and then I'm just going to up the exposure. This is the max, this is the weakest, and this is way too dark. So I'm gonna up it a little bit, and I think that's good. And it's kind of hard because you have some whiter skin and some darker stuff, but hopefully highlights can fix that. So now we have contrast, and this is how much the subject pops out. You can see the subject, but then here it really pops, but that is way too much of a contrast. So I'm gonna up it a little bit. just a tad. So this is like +4. It doesn't do much, but you're still doing something. Now highlights, you can see this highlight over here on her face is way up, and then this kind of just makes her look like she has really a bunch of shadows. So I'm gonna bring the highlights down a little bit just to try and even out her skin tone, I think. I don't know. -22. Ugh, I don't know if I like what I did. I might fix it later. And then shadows. This is all the way up, all the way down. I definitely want to up the shadows. I'm really picky. Maybe we can fix that. I'm gonna bring down my whites, I think. That helps a lot. But you can see that's really... I actually kind of like that with like no whites in it though, but we'll go to -50. And then black, same thing, up it or darken it. I really like it dark, but I think I'm gonna bring it up a little bit just to lighten up the photo. This is lighting. I don't fiddle with any of this stuff. It's too complicated. And I don't do individual hues. This is just a very basic editing style that works for me. So now I'm going to go to color. So temperature, this makes it warm. This is cool. And I want to make this photo a bit warmer. I have it +10. I want to bring that down a bit. This is +7, and I think I like that. Most of my photos have a warm tone to them. Now, as for the tint, so do we want it to be a pink tint or a green tint? And I think kind of with all the leaves, I want to make a pink tint. So like that, just a subtle one. Now, vibrance is how bright it is, and I believe it doesn't affect the skin. I'm gonna make it a bit brighter. This is +15. This is very vibrant. And I kind of want to bring down my temperature a bit now. That helps a bit. And now saturation, you do not want to do too much. I kind of like it in black and white, but the whole point is this is supposed to be a photo that pops, so I'm going to do 3. And now I'm just going to look over and see, is there anything I want to fix? And I think I want to up that contrast maybe a little bit. There's just something off with this photo. Maybe I'll bring down the blacks. I don't know. Maybe it's the whites or like... There we go. I think that helps. Just bringing down the whites even more. But I think this will do. Now I'm going to bring this down even more. And we're going to make this photo a bit clearer. And I'm going to use the noise reduction just to help hide any grain. So now, normally you could crop if you crop, you could heal if you want to heal. I don't think she needs any healing. So I'm going to go down here to the brush tool. And actually I'm going to go here first and zoom in. And back when I started this, I was very confused because I'd zoom in and not be able to move the image. But you just want to make sure that you zoom in when you are not on the brush tool, so I'm just on the regular sliders. Then you'll be able to drag it around. And a very creepy close-up of the doll eye. So now we go to this brush tool, and I learned this from, I think the username is Wondrous Dollies. She was on American Girl's Next Doll Model Cycle 2, but her doll's eyes are so pretty always, and this is how you do it. So you go to the brush tool, and then I think this is a good size. Just like that. Oh, that one's way too big, I think. Actually, that's fine. You just want to highlight these to make your doll have red eyes. So the first thing I do is I max my highlights because we want those nice crisp highlights in those eyes. And I learned this from Small Dolls, but she said that on brown eyes, she likes to up the temperature a bit. Not too much, but... And this definitely helps lighten them up. And I think I'm going to make the eyes a bit clearer. Just going to fit it. I want to bring down my clarity. You can't even see much of a difference, but whatever. And the temperature is a bit too high for me. I think that's better, and you can see your highlights look so much better. So I'm going to show you guys before and after, and you can just see how much those eyes pop, and the colors are so much more vibrant. And I think I like this photo. I'm going to try just lowering my brightness for me. Something still feels off. Like, sometimes you edit a photo and you're like, this is off. Maybe if I make it a cooler tone image. Okay, I just lowered my temperature a little bit. and I think I like this. So now I'm just going to save it. And that is the basics of how I edit my photos. It's a similar process for all of them. I will do blemish removal if I have to, but Victoria is blemish free. So I'm gonna edit the rest of my photos and then show you guys on Photoshop how I add my overlay. Here is the edited image, and I kind of like this better than the first one in terms of editing, but we're going to make it even better by adding some rose petals. This is a very common thing to see on AGIG, and it's one of my favorites, honestly. So you can really do this with any overlay. I've done it with leaves. I'm really not that good at creating depth of field like some people, AGJitters, but I do know how to add overlays, and I prefer doing this in Photoshop than Canva, which is what I used for my thumbnails, just because in Photoshop it doesn't really make the photo grainy, and I find when I add overlays in Canva and finally export it, it adds some grain and it just really bugs me. So this is really all I know how to do in Photoshop. So I already have this saved in Finder, and I just looked up rose petals PNG on the internet. Make sure it has a transparent background, because I don't know how to create PNGs yet. And then you're just going to drag it here to Photoshop, move it where you want it to be, and I feel like I can make this kind of like she's tossed the rose petals. And then, no, I'm recording! And then we are going to select OK when we like where it is. And it doesn't really stand out too much from the background, I'm aware, but I think it's still going to be a nice little touch. And I don't change the size, just because if I change the size, it might confuse me in the future. So I'm just going to speed this up. Also, you can rotate it too. And also, if you have a bit in our hair that you don't want, I think you can use the eraser tool. Oh, we have to rationalize image or something. I don't know what I'm doing. Why do you guys watch these things? Like, I really do not know what I'm doing. But you rationalize it, and then you can use your tools, like the eraser, just because she doesn't need flowers in her hair. And I want to make this bigger because this is a bit tiny for my liking. Just like that. So I'm gonna keep going. Somehow she's able to throw rose petals and not get any on her. It's a miracle. So I think we're done. It's not a huge difference. It would be better on a solid color background and not red. I do think it's better than nothing. I could change the color, but I'm not that fancy. And that is how you add PNG overlays to a photo. But I think we're just gonna export this final photo. So I'm going to add it to photos, and we are done. So hopefully that helped you guys out if you just want to know very basic Photoshop. And also, if any of you guys are pros at it, Andrea, if you're watching this video, if you guys know any good YouTube videos or channels that have really easy to follow Photoshop tutorials for more advanced things, then definitely let me know, because that will help me out so much. That's it for this photo shoot vlog. Here are some before and afters. Hopefully this helped you guys improve your photography. And if you guys want to see more photo-related videos in the future, let me know. As I always say in every video, have an amazing day, and bye.